I swear I've never felt so blindsided in my life. You ever walk outside for a regular day at work just thinking you're early, maybe a little too eager, coffee's still hot in your hand, and boom, the next thing you know, your neighbor's on the phone with 911 screaming like she just caught you cooking meth in the driveway? I mean, I wish I was kidding. But that's exactly how my Tuesday kicked off. Just me, a city environmental inspector named Tommy, showing up 30 minutes early to do my job, and Barbara next door treating me like the Unabomber. But here's the thing, it wasn't me she was scared of, not really. She was terrified of what was inside my case. Let me back up a sec. Ever get that gut feeling someone's doing everything they can to shut you down? Not because you're wrong, but because you're about to find something they'd rather keep buried. If you've ever been set up like that, let me know in the comments, because I need to know I'm not alone here. So it's 8:15 a.m. My car's in front of my own house. I'm thinking it'll be a boring Tuesday, maybe get home early, grill some steaks for dinner, routine city inspection, air quality check, nothing wild. I pop my trunk, grab my testing case, and that's when Barbara explodes out her front door like she's racing for an Olympic medal in neighborhood drama. Face red, hands shaking, voice already up an octave, pointing at my case and yelling, "What are you doing with that equipment so early?" You know that moment when you're just standing there trying to process, like, lady, I'm not jackhammering concrete at dawn. I'm not even on your property. But Barbara's in full panic mode, and suddenly I realize this isn't your average nosy neighbor. This is something else. I tell her as calm as I can, just air quality monitoring, Barbara. Official city work scheduled for weeks. But she's not having it. I don't care what's scheduled. You're here at the wrong time with suspicious equipment. She's backing away like I'm carrying uranium. So I open the case and the LCD blinks a red warning as the sampler starts spinning up. And Barbara, no joke, freezes mid-step like she's about to faint. She's not scared of me. She's scared of what's about to be exposed in her yard. I try to explain, keep it professional, but she's not listening. Instead, she whips out her phone with hands trembling so bad she almost drops it. "I'm calling the police right now," she says, eyes locked on the sampler, dialing 911 like she's declaring war. 911. I need officers at Maple Grove Community immediately. There's a man here with unauthorized chemical equipment engaging in suspicious activities. She's pacing the lawn, putting on a show for the whole block, making sure every word echoes down the street. And wouldn't you know it, Mrs. Henderson shuffles out with her walker looking like she's about to see the apocalypse. A couple neighbors step onto their porches. Kids are peeking through windows. Barbara's turning my air quality check into the morning's main event. "What's happening?" Mrs. Henderson asks, all worried, bless her heart. And Barbara, loud enough for the whole world, says, "This man has dangerous chemical equipment. He's threatening our community safety." I wanted to laugh, honestly. Here I am, paid to protect the neighborhood, and suddenly I'm the public enemy. But the tension's real, so I keep it together. Officer Mitchell shows up in under 15 minutes, credit where it's due, and he's got that veteran cop look like he's seen this kind of neighbor feud before. "Ma'am, you called about suspicious equipment. Calm, neutral, not buying the act just yet." Barbara rushes him like he's a lifeguard and she's drowning. "Thank goodness, officer. This man is using unauthorized chemical devices at inappropriate times." She's flapping her arms, pointing at my case. And Officer Mitchell just looks at me like, "Your turn." So I show him the equipment. Explain I'm with the city, got all my permits, even pull up the digital paperwork and city contract on my phone. "These look like legitimate testing instruments," he says, checking my badge, looking at Barbara with just a hint of, "Are you for real?" But Barbara, she's desperate now. "I don't care about permits. He shouldn't be here early with that equipment. It's threatening." Mitchell asks her flat out, "Ma'am, if he has permits and standard equipment, what exactly concerns you?" And right then I see the fear in Barbara's eyes, real deep. Fear, not just annoyance. She's not worried about me. She's terrified of what my testing might reveal. I offer to demo the equipment, explain how the sensor works, but Barbara blurts, "No, that's unnecessary. We should wait for additional authorization. She's scrambling for any reason to stall. Mitchell just nods and says, actually, a demonstration would help. I set up the portable air sensor, calibrate it, and right away the readings are normal until I swing the sensor toward Barbara's backyard. Suddenly the numbers spike. I mean really spike. Red warnings, toxic readings way past what's safe for a residential block. I double-check, same result. That's interesting, I say, trying not to panic. Barbara turns the color of milk. Officer Mitchell steps closer. What kind of higher levels? I explain as professional as I can. Toxic chemicals high enough to require immediate investigation. Now the crowd's whispering, looking back and forth between me and Barbara. She lunges, tries to snatch the sensor out of my hands. Turn that off. You have no right to test near my property. But it's too late. The data's on screen. Mitchell says, ma'am, if there's an environmental hazard, this is a public safety matter. Neighbors start chiming in. Mrs. Henderson, bless her, says, I've noticed a strange chemical smell from Barbara's yard for weeks. Sweet, almost sickly worse when it's hot. Suddenly the mood shifts. Now a young mother from the corner says her daughter's been having breathing issues, and a dad across the street shouts, if there's danger here, we deserve to know. Barbara turns nasty. Sarah, isn't your husband up for promotion at the water department? Wouldn't want panic to hurt his chances. She's threatening people right in front of the cops. That's when it really hits the fan. Neighbors, one by one, step forward. The more Barbara tries to shut them up, the more they start talking. One by one, parents, elderly folks, young families, everybody has a story. Headaches, coughs, weird rashes, mystery odors drifting from Barbara's yard, especially after dark. Officer Mitchell calls for a federal environmental specialist, Dr. Wilson, who shows up with a van full of equipment, and suddenly the whole street looks like a crime scene. Barbara's out of her mind, still trying to control the story, but it's over. Mike Sullivan, a nervous landscaping contractor, pulls up, sees the police, and confesses on the spot, Barbara paid me double to install turf made with banned chemicals. She told me not to worry, she'd take care of any complaints. I mean, can you imagine? Not only did she bring in illegal material, but she ordered Mike to dig drainage cuts so the runoff would flow into the neighbors' yards. She was paid under the table. Financial records matched to late-night deliveries Mrs. Henderson had photographed from her window. Turns out Barbara wasn't just a toxic neighbor. She was running a backyard hazmat business. And you know what she does next? She tries to flip it, claims, I planted the chemicals to frame her, waving around faked photos, says I have a vendetta against HOAs. My wife Rachel, she's got the receipts, literally. Travel records, conference badges, digital timestamps, all proving I wasn't even in town when Barbara's dirty work went down. Mitchell checks the body cam. Timeline's airtight. Barbara's scrambling, tries to run, packs her car like she's skipping town, but the officers block her in. Mitchell searches the trunk, finds bags of turf, chemical canisters, even shredded invoices and HOA checks. Mrs. Henderson, absolute legend, steps up with a manila envelope, 3 weeks of nighttime surveillance, time-stamped photos and video of Barbara directing the dumping, counting cash in the driveway, even signing paperwork with the hazmat guys. Detective Rodriguez calls it what it is. Barbara, you're under arrest for operating an unlicensed hazardous waste facility, conspiracy, child endangerment evidence, tampering, tax evasion, the works. They cuff her right there on her own lawn while the neighbors watch jaws on the ground. Dr. Wilson's tests confirm Barbara's poison flowed right into the storm drain all the way to the elementary school playground. When the truth comes out, she breaks down crying, I needed the money, we were losing the house, but nobody's buying the tears anymore. In the end, the neighborhood gets evacuated, the EPA comes in, every inch of soil is cleaned and tested, Barbara goes to trial, gets 3 years probation, banned from HOA office, forever loses her house to restitution payments. The new family that moves in, environmental scientists of all things. They install monitors, and for the first time in years, the block feels safe again. The kids are back in the yard. Mrs. Henderson's on her porch. Rachel's doing her thing with the ledgers, and honestly, trust is stronger than ever because now we check everything together. You ever notice how the folks who scream the loudest about community standards usually have the most to hide or get accused of the exact thing they're guilty of? I'd love to hear if you've ever been blindsided like that. Drop your stories below. What would you have done in my shoes? Was justice served, or did Barbara get off easy? Hit. Like if you're glad the neighborhood got cleaned up, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories. You never know what's really going on behind that white picket fence.